Thank you. Got it. Perfect. Okay, thank you for joining our session today. So this session is meant for 1L students, but if you're not a 1L student, I only have a few slides, and at the end, John will give a live demonstration of how to install Exam4 and then answer your questions. So if you're here for a Q&A with John, just sit tight and we'll answer your questions momentarily. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with a few slides that I have prepared. So as everybody knows, the exam period is upon us. It's only a few days away. So the last day of class is December 1st, which is on Friday, and exams start on the following Monday, December 4th. So this is the in-class exam schedule. So for 1L students, all of your exams are in class, which means that you'll come to the law school on the dates that your 1L exams are scheduled. So procedure is scheduled on December 5th. Contracts is scheduled on December 8th, and then torts is scheduled on December 11th. So you come to the law school and you go to the rooms that are indicated on the schedule, and you want to be ready with the Exam4 software installed on your computer. Make sure that you have tested it to ensure that you know how to use the software. And you want to be here around 8:10 for 8 o'clock exams. And so all of your exams this semester are at 8:30 a.m. And you want to be sure that you arrive early, plenty of time, so that you can choose your seat. So students will sit one seat apart from each other. So that's why some of the exams are broken up into two rooms. So if you see, for example, procedure with Professor Clark, there will be two rooms for this exam. So students' last names A through L should go to room 101, and students with the last name M through Z should go to room 103. If you have an accommodation, you will receive a separate schedule, and so you should follow whatever rooms are designated on the accommodated student schedule. So that's sort of how it works. I know everybody might be a little nervous and maybe excited about taking their first exam, but just know that our proctors have been prepared and trained on how to proctor an exam, and we're happy to help answer any questions that you might have. As a reminder, proctors are there just to administer the exam. Obviously, they haven't written the exam or have anything to do with the context of the exam, so they will only be able to help answer questions regarding, time, length of exam, whatever information that we provide to them at the beginning. But anything in terms of the contents of the exam, they will obviously not be able to answer. So okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is your exam number. So everybody has a unique exam number, and you'll use that for fall and spring exams. And next academic year, you will receive a new exam number that you will use. So this is a 4-digit exam number unique to you. You shouldn't be sharing it with other students. You should memorize it. You should write it down, and you can always access it on My Law Portal under exams, and then there's a little tab that's called exam numbers. You'll use this for every in-class exam that you have, and you'll enter it in Exam4 when you're ready to start. Materials permitted in the room is up to the professor. So you want to be sure that you are asking any questions about what's permitted, what mode the exam is, to your professors before the end of the semester, so before Friday. They will let you know what you can bring and what you cannot bring. In terms of electronics, you could only have your laptop. The software will not work on iPads or tablets, so you want to be sure that you're bringing your laptop, and you're not permitted to bring an additional screen, so you can't connect to have a bigger screen. You aren't permitted to bring your own headphones or anything that are electronic headphones. So we do provide earplugs. If you need them, you can ask a proctor and they will be able to give you that. And we also want to be sure that you're obviously putting away your phones, especially away kind of at a site. And then also any electronic watches like Apple Watches or things like that. You want to be sure that you're putting all that away. Food or drink is not allowed in the room other than water, but obviously if you need to step out for a quick snack, you can do that. You're able to use the restroom. There's a sign out sheet in every room, so you are able to use the bathroom, but obviously time does not stop. So you want to go and come back as quickly as possible. And be sure that you're obviously not communicating with other students about the exam during your restroom breaks. These are the three different types of exam modes that the software permits, and John can kind of go in more detail, but quickly I can provide a quick overview of what the modes are. Open plus network means that the professor has indicated this type of mode for his exam or her exam, and they will allow students to access their desktop and their internet. If the mode of your exam is open mode, it means that you can access any files that you have downloaded onto your desktop, but you cannot access the internet. And if it's a closed mode exam, it means that you're not able to access any of your desktop. It will block everything out, and the software will operate as a word processor. So those are the three different types of modes that are available on the software. And again, the professor dictates and decides what mode their exam will be conducted in. So if you have questions about the mode, you should reach out to your professor. I just wanted to mention really quickly that you are abiding by our honor pledge by taking your exam. So you'll hear a lot of information in emails, reminders that we send to you, and also in the proctor scripts that all of the proctors will read at the beginning of the exam. You want to be sure that you're not engaging in any academic dishonesty, any plagiarism, any cheating, unauthorized collaboration. You want to be sure that you're focused on your own exam, that you're not sending notes back and forth. Proctors are instructed to write down exam ID numbers if they suspect any suspicious activity, and you will be contacted after the exam is over. So you want to just be sure that you are abiding by all of our academic integrity rules that the university has set out and that the law school has indicated in the student handbook. Please be sure that you're respecting all of those rules and policies, because it is something that we take seriously, and that we do have to report to the professors if any unauthorized collaboration occurs during the exam. So once you enter the exam room, you'll likely see proctors getting ready to conduct the exam. They'll be writing things on the whiteboard. They'll be getting their materials ready in the front. We ask that you go into the exam room, sit down, make sure that you leave one seat in between you and your other classmates, and you just get out your computer and start launching Exam4 software. That's the best thing that you can do. And once the proctors are ready to check students in, then they will instruct you to do that. You are required to bring your USC ID card for check-in, so be sure that you have that with you at all exams, and you are going to provide this to the proctor, and they're going to check you off the roster. So, just listen and wait patiently for the proctors to instruct you for the check-in process. But the most important thing that you can do is get your computer out, launch Exam4, and go to the wait screen that John will walk us through in a little bit. At the end of the exam, proctors are instructed to give a 5-minute warning and a 1-minute warning, so you'll hear that information. On the board, you also have a start time and end time, so you can always look at the board to see where you're at, and the projectors on the screen will also have a clock, so you can see what time it is in the room. So all of the time is going to go by the time that are listed on those screens. So the proctors will end exam. They will instruct you to quit and end the exam. So you want to stop writing or stop typing. There are a few screens that you need to click through in order to end. So they know that if you're clicking through things, it's likely that you're ending. But if you're still typing, they're going to go up to you and ask you to end. And if you're not abiding by that, then again, they'll write down your exam ID and report that to the exam administration team. You want to leave quietly. If you're finished early, you are permitted to leave, but make sure that you're submitting all of your materials back to your proctors. So if you're given anything, including and especially a printed copy of the exam or scratch paper, you want to be sure that you're returning all of those materials. You are not obviously allowed to leave the exam room with a printed copy of the exam or any scratch paper. You can only use scratch paper that is provided to you by the proctors, and you cannot use your own. But in case you do accidentally, you do have to submit those pieces of paper to the proctor as well. And again, there is a proctor that will be signing you out if you need to use the restroom or leave the room. We ask that only one person at a time leaves the rooms. And again, you cannot take any materials with you. After the exam, you want to be sure not to discuss any of the exam questions with your peers. I know it can be exciting to kind of go back and forth and discuss how you answered the question, but we really advise against it. You want to be sure that you're not discussing anything, especially because you don't know if a student will be taking it at a later time for a reason that we have authorized. So we also ask that you do not contact faculty once the exam period ends. Or begins. So beginning December 4th, you're not allowed to have any contact with your professors. If there's any questions that you have to go through the registrar's office in order to get your questions answered, but we do encourage you to ask questions now. So make sure that you're understanding all of the rules and policies and the materials that you're permitted to bring with you for each of your exams. We ask that you not congregate outside of the exam rooms because it can be disruptive, especially if there are other exams occurring and they're ending at a different time. So just be mindful of that. If there's an emergency or illness that occurs right before your exam, please reach out to the registrar's office and we will connect with you as soon as we can. Grades will be available mid-January via the portal and OASIS. So at the law school, as you know, everything's blind graded and normalized. So it does take some time for your grades to be processed by your faculty. Okay, so that's it for me. I will shoot it over to John so he can give a quick overview of downloading the exam software, and then we can open it up for questions and answers.
Thanks, Daisy. Hi, everybody. So what we're going to do, share my screen here, and we are just going to zip through 3 of the most pertinent steps in doing this that you're going to need. As Daisy covered, first thing you're going to want to do is go to your law portal.
Wait, it's not
log in there.
There's like a seminar.
Somebody needs to mute. Go to the law portal, and under there you'll see the exams icon, and under there you'll see the exam numbers. Click on that, and under here, you, unlike myself, will have an exam number. You click on that, it'll show the exam number. That's your 4-digit exam taker ID number, and that's where you find it. And it's going to be the same on each exam that you take. So be sure to go and find that. And if you need to find it again, that's where it will be. So downloading the Exam4 software, just real quick, you just go to exam4.com. Go to law schools, go to C for California, scroll down, USC Gould School of Law, click on that. Here you're going to fill this out. Be sure to use your law mail address for the email address and put your class year in here. And then whatever operating system you're currently using, you're going to select that here and download the software. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to download it now. You'll notice here for the Mac operating system, the oldest one you can be using is Big Sur. So if you're older than this, you need to update and make sure that you're compatible. Of course, all of you have already done this and run practice exams and everything. So this is all redundant. But that is how you do it if you need to tell somebody else. So that's downloading. Once you've got it downloaded, this little red E is going to be on your computer somewhere, depending on how you have it set up. It may be in your taskbar, maybe on your desktop, maybe in your applications folder on your Mac, wherever it is. Wherever it is, it's going to be this red E. Roberto, you need to stay muted. So if you find the red E, you're going to click it. It's going to ask you, can I go ahead? You're going to say yes. It may pop up to this. It may pop up to a default screen that you click next, and then it will come to this. But either way, this is where it starts. You always keep prepare to start a new exam selected. Click next. This is where you put that 4-digit exam taker ID that you retrieved so studiously from the law portal. I'm just going to make one up. So you put that in twice. Everything with the software you do 2 times. It's very redundant that way. So you have to mess up twice to make a mistake. So for this case, we're going to do practice exam. For your real exam, it'll be down in here someplace. Be sure to select the correct one. And remember, you have to select the wrong one twice. So make sure you have the right exam file selected for the exam that you're going to take. They should, generally that's posted on the board at the front of the room. Click next. Again, it asks you to confirm. Click OK. For this page, we don't do anything with time. You can select different font sizes to make the font appear how you like it in the software, given your particular computer settings. But again, once you start an exam file, you can't go back out and change it. So this is one of the reasons you want to do a practice exam so that you're happy with the way it looks. So I just always leave it on medium, click next. This is just the user terms and all of that stuff. Just sign your life away, click next. And then here is where you would enter the mode. So again, there's open network, and closed modes. We're going to use open network, but if it was just open, you would just leave this blank and then click that and go ahead. In our case, we're going to put network in here. Then we're going to click this and we're going to go ahead. So next, it asks you to confirm again. You want to make sure that you have the right mode because that might affect how your exam is. How you take your exam. If the exam is given in open network and you only select open, everybody else is going to have access to the internet and you're not. You will be at a disadvantage. So click next. This is the wait screen that has been referred to. So everybody gets to this screen and waits until the proctor says you may begin, at which point you select begin exam. So they're going to say you may begin, you click begin exam, and this is the landing page for the software. Again, you guys already know all this because you've done tons of practice exams, but just to go through it again, first thing you want to do is go to exam info, exam document, and retrieve the exam contents so that you can read them. Again, this number will be a 3-digit number and a capital letter that is usually posted on the board at the front of the room. It is not your exam taker ID. It is not anything else. In the case of our practice exam, it's 1, 2, 3, capital P, and then you click the fetch button, and it goes and it gets the exam contents for you. At that point, now you can read the exam, but where do I put my answers? You go down here and you click side-by-side view, and then you got to just stretch out the page in a way that works best for you. Again, this is why you need to do practice exams, because you got to fit this to your screen on your computer. You can make this bigger or smaller. You can make this, side to side. It's a little bit different on a Mac. We're doing this one on a PC, so you need to practice on a Mac. But anyway, so this is this. This is the typing page, this big white blank page. So you can type in here, blah, blah, blah. Just put in your answer, and then when you're ready to go to the next one, all we need is to know which one you're answering. So that might be, you could just put answer to question 2, answer to question 3. We don't care. As long as we know which one you're answering. Or you can go up here to Tools, insert answer separation, and it'll pop out this divider. Then you can just put whatever thing in there that you need to answer. Keep on typing. You can do another one. Insert answer separator, etc. So that's it for the typing page. In a essay only, that's all you will need to do. A lot of the exams are combined with a multiple choice or multiple choice only. Do not type your multiple choice answers in this typing window. There is a specific multiple choice page, and you get there by going back up to the toolbar, clicking multiple choice, and this black screen will show up, and you can enter your answers in here. So for number one, I like A. I go next one, I'm going to do C. You can see they pop up here. 3, 4, and you just go down and you answer your questions as you see fit. Now, say you want to go back to number 2 and change that. You decided you don't like that one. You can change it, but you'll notice if I click, nothing happens. You have to unlock it. Then you can change it to something else, and then you can go again. That's just to keep people from accidentally changing their answer. Say, for instance, you're still not sure about number 2. You want to go back and look at it again later, but you want to just do the ones you know first. So you can hit the mark button. It'll put a little asterisk by it to remind you to go back to that question. That's all that does. And then you can click away, go back to the rest of your answers. When you're done answering, or if you want to switch back to typing for a while, you don't need to save any of this, do anything weird. You just click hide. And then it hides. And then if you click this again, it comes back. You see your answers are still all saved. One note I will make on this page, do not try to fetch the document, this over here, from the multiple choice page, even if it's a multiple choice only exam. I don't know why they put this here, but it doesn't work. If you put something in here and click fetch, you just get this document not found thing. So always fetch from the typing page and from the exam info button up here. So anyway, you can switch back and forth, you can hide it, you can unhide it, and it saves your answers. The software saves your answers every 60 seconds. So if your computer crashes halfway through, God forbid, it's not going to happen, but let's just say it did, then everything up to the last minute you were working will be saved. And then you just finish the exam by hand, and then afterwards we'll combine the two. So you don't have to go back and start the exam over or anything if that were to happen, which it's not going to. So when you're all finished, you like all your typed answers, you liked all your multiple choice answers, everything's good to go. Then you go up here to end exam now. It's going to ask you, are you sure? Because once you go out, you can't go back in. So you click confirm, okay. Then how do you want to submit? You always want to submit electronically. So you're going to click submit electronically, and you're going to get exam submittal successful. That is the only receipt you're going to get for your exam submittal. So you don't need to email us. You're not going to get an email. You're not going to get anything weird. That's going to be it. Then when you're ready to exit, you click I understand and click OK. And then you're done. The only other thing, now you got to close the software itself. So exit exam 4, am I sure? Yes, I am. And that's it, you're done. Your exam is submitted and you're ready to move on to the next one. So if you guys have any questions about that, we'll open that up now, or anything about the administrative process. Again, we have videos of this that were linked in earlier emails. So you guys should have access to that. That whole thing I just went through, we have on a YouTube video. So if you need the links to that, you can hit us up and we'll send you those. But that should cover all of it. Do practice exams. Do them now. Do them this weekend. Make sure this works before you get to your first exam, because you do not want that to be your first interaction with the software. And with that, I will shut up and pass it back to Daisy.
We have a question in the chat. Just wanted to confirm that Ventura is okay for Mac.
I don't know. We were just on that page. Let me go back and look. Yes, Ventura is totally fine. You can use Sonoma, Ventura, Monterey, or Big Sur. So just don't be any older than Big Sur.
Are there any other questions? You're welcome to unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, really quick, is there any chance, actually, I don't know if you can because you're on a PC, I think you said, but do you know if on Mac you can make it so that the exam 4 software takes up half the screen and then you could have like your outline or whatever visible on the other half as a split screen?
That you would need to experiment with that on your computer during a practice exam. That's exactly the kind of thing you want to find out. But I have had other Mac users come by, and one thing that they're able to do is have the exam software open, but then be able to switch to other screens and swipe back and forth. So that might be worth checking out and seeing if you can get that going.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to stop the recording here so that everybody's questions don't have to be recorded. And does that sound okay, Daisy? We got a decent amount of info here?
Yep.
All right. I will stop that here.